I'm so fucking furious. I just got a phone call and I did not want to edit this goddamn video. Okay. All right. So oh my God, that was so good. That was so good. That was such a good example of feeling your feelings and emotions. I just had to feel the anger and frustration. I just had to let it run its course. You take your deep breaths and you're back. You're back to feeling good. Look at that. Look at that. Basically, as this happens over and over and over again in your life, you get used to getting your needs met. That's what makes you feel safe and secure. I feel safe and secure because I know that if anything happens, if I don't get #1 place at the talent show, if I am disappointed, then I have a primary attachment figure who's in my life, who's going to show up, who is going to help me process these emotions of devastation and disappointment and all of this good stuff. And after I process the emotions of devastation and disappointment, then I can get back out there and I can go after my next goal, and I can be hopeful because I know that it's possible for me, that things will work out good for me because I have my parent who I love, who is my rock, who I depend on, that told me so, that taught me so, right? That's the person, those are the people who have that experience are the people that grow up to be adults who allow themselves to get their needs met. They're the people who grow up to be the adults who are not working for any less than X, Y, and Z specific amount of money, because they're the people who know that they are worthy and deserving of getting their needs met, of being taken care of. And your needs and your wants are the same. Your needs and your wants are the same. There is no difference between something that I need and something that I want. And we're describing want as your desire, okay? So we don't mean just because you want to be with a specific person that you have to be with that person and all of that stuff. That's more trauma response, inner children looking for resolve through that specific person, right? If you want help with that, come work with me one-on-one. So that's one experience. But we're talking about your needs and your wants. Let's say that your want is to express yourself creatively, and you express yourself creatively through the car that you drive. You express yourself creatively through the home that you have. You express yourself creatively through the couches that you use to decorate your home. You express yourself creatively through the fabrics that you use to create clothes so that you can really express yourself creatively, so you have unique custom pieces that nobody else in the world has. And that is how you show up in the world, expressing yourself, that there is nobody like you, because there's nobody else who's dressed like this. There's nobody else who has this. That's one way that you express yourself. If that's your want, if that's your desire, then that's a need. You have a need to express yourself. You have a need to feel like an individual. You have a need to feel unique. You have a need to feel special. And so if you have a need to creatively express yourself, but the job that you're working at only takes care of your bills, your need is not getting met. If the job that you're working at only takes care of your rent, if the job that you're working at only takes care of your rent and you're having to budget so fucking hard, you're not allowing yourself to experience the food and the meals that you want to be cooking for yourself, the meals and the experiences that you want and the different tastes and all of those different physical pleasures, you're not getting your needs met. It's time to expand and start thinking greater of what your gaining a greater idea, of what your needs are. Your parents didn't teach you correctly. Your parents didn't teach you what your needs were. You need more than you have physical clothes. You need more than you have water. You need more than you have food. You need to enjoy life. That is a need that you have. And so in your work and in your job, the person who knows that they deserve to get their needs met is not going to take on the work, is not going to take on the job where they're not getting enough time off. They're not going to take on their work. They're not going to take on their job where they can't afford to have the house that they want and the car that they want and the clothes that they want. They're not going to take on those jobs because they know that they deserve to get their needs met. So we're just starting to gain a broader understanding of what our needs are and the fact that our needs deserve to be met. And these belief systems that you have about your needs being met are formed in your childhood. If you are an adult who, yeah, I got my needs met in this way, but I still can't get this, and I never get this thing, and it just doesn't feel just right, and I can get the things that I kind of want, but I never get the thing that I actually really want really bad, that's because your needs weren't met in your childhood. That's why a majority of the work that we do when we're looking to level up in our career, when we're looking to find the other romantic match, it's emotional work. It's inner child work. It's the story that you've been telling yourself for all of your life based in your experience that you don't get your wants, aka you don't get your needs met. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. That's what we are opening up. And the first card out we have is yes, and then we have the Star, and then we have the Knight of Swords, and then we have the Chariot, and then we have the Hidden Inner Strength with the King of Cups at the bottom of the deck. And so this is just talking about emotional maturity. Okay, so with the energy of yes, we all know the song. We all know the song. Okay, if Jesus say yes, nobody can say no. Recognizing yourself as an authority in your own life means you are no longer looking outside of yourself to get somebody else to say yes to you. One of the examples that's coming up super strongly is this culture that we have surrounding you don't need it. You don't need it. Stop shopping on Amazon because you don't need it. Stop buying new clothes because you don't need it. I went on a shopping spree and I allowed myself to have my desire, and now I'm riddled with guilt because I don't need it. Learning to tell yourself yes, learning to receive without guilt is all a part of allowing yourself to be loved. Allowing yourself to be loved means you allow yourself to creatively express yourself. And then there are these extremes, right? So I've been seeing a couple things about like fast fashion and different things like that, right? And so we have all of these problems and all of this consumption and things like that. A lot of our problems surrounding overconsumption and all of that would be, I want to say soothed, yes, would be fixed by people figuring out what their actual needs are. Because there's a difference between I need this article of clothing to add to my collection and I can put together the outfits like this and this is how I creatively express myself in the world, versus I need to go out and buy every single article of clothing that comes out so that I can so that I can get a feeling of belonging, so that I can so that I can get a feeling of belonging, so that I can get a feeling of community, so that other people will accept me, because other people won't accept me unless I look like this person that I see on Instagram. So I have to go out and buy all of the clothes that I see on Instagram so that I can be worthy of love. If we feel worthy of love, then we don't have to go out and over consume. We are naturally in a flow. We're naturally in a flow state, not taking more than what we need because we're naturally attuned to what we actually need. So it's okay to start telling yourself yes, and it's really, really important for you to stop telling yourself no. Every single time you want something, every single time you have a desire and you tell yourself no, ask yourself why. Why can't I have this thing? Why can't I get this thing that I can enjoy? A lot of you will tell yourself no because we don't have money for that thing. And a lot of you will tell yourselves this because that's what your parents told you, right? In your childhood, I want tickets to go see the Jonas Brothers, or I want to go do this and this and this. And your parents say, no, because we don't have money for that. No, you can't do that because I don't have money for that. And the kicker is this. What I realized, my life changed when I realized this truth. The reality of the situation is not that you didn't get the things that you wanted in your childhood because you couldn't afford them. The reason you didn't get the things that you wanted in your childhood was because getting you what you wanted, your values and your desires, was just not your parents' priority. Mic drop. Because people are going to allow themselves to receive. People are going to get what it is that they want, what it is that they value. Let me tell you something that I acknowledge about my mother. Love her to death. Emotionally immature, that's her business, that's her life story. Mwah. Still worthy of love, not good or bad, just is what it is. This is the experience, this is my launching pad, we're moving forward from it, right? My mom will get the designer bags, the designer car, the da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and still will tell me she was on a trip away Vegas, can't give you money right now because bills. And I'm like, queen, you will somehow figure out how to get the money to pay for all of these things, to buy everybody and their grandkids a million gifts and da-da-da-da-da. But you somehow cannot figure out financially how to do this thing for me. And what it comes down to is the fact that helping me out with this thing is just not a priority for her. And that's okay. But as you realize this more and more, you get to shift your relationship with money. The reason why I'm not allowing myself to have this thing is not because I can't afford it. That's the excuse that I'm using. But the reason why I'm not allowing myself to have this thing is because I don't want it. The reason I'm not allowing myself to have this thing is because I don't value it. Because when somebody values something, when somebody wants something, when something is a yes from somebody, they are going to do whatever the fuck needs to be done so that they can get that thing. And they're going to allow themselves to receive that thing. Saying yes to yourself, saying yes to your pleasures, start opening it up. Universe, I do want this thing. And I don't know how it's going to happen. Universe, I do want the money for this thing to come in. Universe, I do want these shoes. Universe, I do want this thing. Yes. Yes, I'm going to allow myself to get that. And then take away the pressure of how it's going to happen. Just, yeah, I do need to creatively express myself. I do need to be able to do this. I do need a second camera if I'm going to creatively express myself and make the best quality videos that I want to make, that I'm excited to make. Yes, I do need this. Yes, I do need this. With the star card here, this is about hope. And they're singing that song, Wishing on a Star. Some of you, this is funny, a message coming from a Pisces. Some of you are living in a bit of a fantasy. And the reason why this isn't helpful to you is because there is such a stark difference between your fantasy life and your reality. And the belief system that you hold is that everything that you fantasize about and dream about cannot come to be, will not come to fruition. And so that's the reason why a lot of your manifestations are not coming in, is because you hold the belief that they're always going to be at a distance from you. And it's because you're using your fantasy to escape the feelings of worthlessness inside. You're using your fantasy to escape the stories that you're telling yourself that you're actually not worthy and deserving of your desires. You're telling yourself that you're actually never going to be loved. And so I'm going to go into my fantasy world wherein I am loved and wherein I do get my needs met. Quick shift. Feel those feelings. I feel unworthy of love, and that's okay. I feel unworthy of being loved, and that's okay. Of course I feel unworthy of love. I've never been loved in my life. Of course I feel unworthy of a feeling of safety and security. I've never felt safe and secure in my life. Of course I feel unworthy of help and outside assistance. I've never received help and outside assistance in my life. This is acknowledging your experience for what it's been. If your emotional needs are not being met right now, if you don't know how to identify how you feel, if you don't know what your emotional needs are or how to meet them, your emotional needs have never been met. If your emotional needs are not being met, a feeling of safety and security, that's an emotional need. That's something that you don't have. A feeling of safety and security is something that you get from having parents who can show up consistently for you. Emotionally immature people cannot show up consistently for you. They cannot meet your emotional needs. They cannot attune to you because they're too busy trying to attune to themselves and figure out their own stuff. Not good, bad, evil is what it is. It's your launching pad. What are we doing now? With the energy of the star card, this helpfulness, as you start telling yourself yes more, as you start looking towards your future with hope and optimism, looking towards your future with hope that you have the power to change something. A lot of you had experiences in your childhood where you had parents who would just say no to your desires, always shooting you down. It was not your life. You don't get to decide what happens in your life. Your parents decide what happens in your life. Your parents tell you what to do. Your parents tell you this is where we're moving, this is what we're going to eat, this is who you're going to be, this is what you're going to wear, and you just really had no say. There is a feeling of powerlessness as we collectively manifest global warming. Please get empowered. If you don't work with me one-on-one, manifest a fucking healer so we can get empowered so that we can heal global warming. I'm so serious. I'm so serious. I was just realizing this, that global warming is totally the manifestation of an entire world full of people who do not have a feeling of safety and security, because what is more scary than impending doom? But if we all collectively, I mean this, we're in the age of Aquarius. You don't think that the technological advances are going to be coming so quickly out of nowhere, quick, fast, and in a hurry to save us from global warming? Come on, queens, use your mind, use your common sense. Is this camera on me? Okay, anyway, I'm kind of getting off topic. Okay, so example, people feeling hopeless, oh my God, global warming, impending doom, things happening outside of our control that we cannot handle. It's your emotions. It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor for your emotions. That's it. It's literally a metaphor for your emotions. Everything going on outside of me, all of these big, bad, terrible things happening that I cannot control. It's a metaphor. It's how you felt in your childhood. So as you learn to process and feel your emotions, you naturally become more empowered. Instead of, oh my God, I'm so terrified of this terrible thing coming that I won't be able to overcome. It's every single time I'm faced with a new challenge, I'm figuring out, how can I overcome this? Okay, what resources do I have? What people can I reach out to? Who can I lean on? We all need somebody to lean on. Who can I lean on to help me move through this? You need that. Human, interdependent species. We need each other. You understand? Okay, with the energy of the Knight of Swords. Oh. I'm not gonna start crying. I don't want to stop this, and I don't want to start crying. But you should not suppress your feelings and emotions. That one just kind of hit me. You grew up with parents and authority figures who were not meeting your emotional needs and who responded with a lot of anger. Why? Because your parents are emotionally immature and they do not have the capacity. They don't have the capacity to process feelings and emotions. And so they get really overwhelmed really, really easily. And so here you are as a child, just being an otter, just trying to figure out life. And then you have this cobra, your parents with their big scary ass fucking emotions and anger, who are just kind of lashing out at you for what feels like no reason. Of course you're terrified. Of course you're terrified of authority. Of course you're terrified of making mistakes. That's not love. You're just realizing and recognizing that the way that your parents treated you was not love. There is no condition that you can meet in order to be worthy of unconditional love. Unconditional love means you're worthy of love right now. It means you're worthy of love with your trauma. It means you're worthy of love with your own emotional immaturity. It means that you're worthy of love right here, right now. There's nobody that you can become. There's no version of you. There's nothing, there's no marker that you're going to hit to magically become worthy of love. And some of y'all really, really need to hear that right now. There is no, if I make this amount of money, if I do this thing, if I work this hard, then I'm going to get the love from my parents. It doesn't work. It's a trap. It's a trap. And it's a trap that you, of course, naturally, it's a natural consequence of karma. It's a natural consequence of trauma. It's a natural consequence of your experience. You come up with this idea, you come up with this fantasy that if I could just be somebody other than who I inherently am, aka you're telling yourself the story that you're inherently flawed and unworthy of love. If I could just become someone else, if I could just meet this standard, then I would be worthy of love. Then I would make my parents happy. Then I would make my parents proud. Then I would get the reaction from them that I want. Then they would change. Then they would treat me better. Then they would da-da-da-da-da. It's time to realize, babe, that's not going to happen. It's not funny. It's not funny. If this is really hitting with you and you're crying right now, I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at you. It's not going to happen because your behavior has nothing to do with the way that you're treated. What you do, the action that you take, masculine energy, has nothing to do with what you receive, divine feminine. Nothing to do with it. The reason why you were treated that way from your parents was because that's who your parents are. And it's not that that's who they are on a soul level. That's who they have become because of their trauma and because of their experience and because of the fact that they don't know what to do with emotions. That's so frustrating. Having to deal with all of your emotions and feelings, you don't know what to do with it. Now you have a kid outside of you who has emotions and feelings that you also don't know what to do with it. I would scream too. And I have. I understand. That's a natural consequence of trauma. Natural response. Do we love it? Do we want to experience more of it? No. With the energy of the Knight of Swords, you're realizing parent stuff can be separated from life stuff. And that means that we got to kind of start to distance ourselves from this idea that one day our parents are going to be somebody other than who they are. And this is good for a lot of you who get stuck in the relationships things. Releasing yourself from the idea that somebody outside of you is going to be somebody other than who they are. Because you can't change them. Because your actions can't influence them. There is no amount of healing yourself that you could do to make somebody else treat you differently, to make somebody else treat you better, to make somebody else love you. Does not happen, does not exist. That's not how humans work. That's not how this life works. What else is coming through here? For some of you, it's your own anger. Afraid to feel your anger. I just got super duper angry and frustrated because somebody called me at the very beginning of this. My blood boiling, hot. I just felt it. I just felt the emotions. And then it took a second. It took about, 90 seconds, as emotions do? Worse and worse and worse. Okay, it's soothing, 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 soothing. Okay, the emotions pass. The emotions move through. You gotta let yourself feel your emotions. Me being able to feel that very quickly, very impressive. Might not happen that quickly for you as you're tapping in. That's okay. Feel your anger. You're angry with your parents. And stop telling yourself, no, I'm not mad. You have no idea how many times people, and if you're watching this and you're one of them, mwah, I love you. You have no idea how many times people, I don't hate my mom, but you do. But you do. And it's okay. It's okay. It's okay that you do. Your parents didn't see you. You didn't have any emotional intimacy. You didn't have any positive mirroring. You didn't have any reflection. You didn't have any help. You didn't have any support. You have been feeling like it is you against the world for the entirety of your life. I would hate the people that you decided, that you agreed, you came in here with the unspoken, there was an unspoken agreement between you and your parents that they would take care of you and they would meet your needs, and they broke that fucking agreement. Of course you're mad. Of course you're mad. Of course you're furious. Of course you're angry. Let yourself feel your anger. And let yourself feel the guilt that you feel for feeling angry. And validate yourself. Of course you feel guilty. Of course you feel guilty because you live in a society that tells you mother knows best. You live in a society that tells you respect your mother and father. You live in a society that tells you your parents know everything. You live in a society that tells you you must love your parents. You live in a society that tells you that your parents love you. You live in a society that tells you don't go too far away because nobody will ever love you like your parents love you. Your parents were your first abusive relationship. Let's just put that there. Because you're realizing that your parents did not love you. And they loved you to the best of their abilities. They met your needs to the best of their abilities. That doesn't negate that. Learning and growing and becoming more emotionally mature means that you can understand the complexities of human emotion. It's layers to this shit. You can acknowledge the downfalls of your parents and of your upbringing while simultaneously acknowledging the pleasantries, acknowledging the fact that things were good. But what a lot of y'all are doing is, no, I can't feel angry. No, I can't feel bad. Because if I feel angry, if I feel bad, then that means that I don't feel grateful. Not true. Allow yourself to feel your emotions so you can process and release. With the energy of the Chariot, can you start seeing yourself as a successful person, please? Because your success is inevitable. Because your success is inevitable. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're watching this video and if you made it all the way to this part of this video, your success is inevitable, because that means that you're a vibrational match for me. And you would not be a vibrational match for me and all of this work that I'm doing and all of this success that I'm aligning with, my life purpose and my mission. You would not be a vibrational match to receiving this message if you were not destined for success. If your inner being, if your spirit guides, if your angels and ancestors were not guiding you to success. And I'm hearing the applause. Thank you. It's also applause for you, but it's really applause for me because, you know, I deserve it. And I just really give myself kudos, and I'm really amazing. And this work that I'm doing is amazing. And this message that I'm giving you is so amazing. And you're experiencing so many shifts just listening to it. You're welcome. What can I say besides you're welcome? With the energy of the Chariot. Ooh, let me take a thumbnail. That was cute. Okay. So with the energy of the Chariot here, can you start seeing yourself as successful? Up until this point, because of your childhood experience and the fact that that led you to a feeling of insecurity, those feelings of insecurity mean you don't feel secure about your future. You don't feel secure about the direction that you're taking. You don't feel confident in the direction that you're taking. You don't feel confident in the path that you're walking down. Some of you feel very indecisive. I don't know if I should do this or this. I don't know what my next move is. I don't know what's a yes for me. I don't know what's a no for me. I don't really know. If you say the phrase, I don't know, you need to stop. Instead of, I don't know, start catching yourself. Okay. You really want to stop? Start catching yourself. Every single time you say, I don't know, oop. Ooh, oh my goodness. Wow. I do say that more often, right? And then as you're catching yourself saying, I don't know. Ooh, I take that back. I need some more clarity on this. I need some more clarity on this. And that opens it up so that your inner being can give you clarity so that you can connect with yourself. You're learning to emotionally attune to yourself. You are learning to attune to your own emotions and your own emotional needs. You're learning to attune to your desires. You're learning to attune to your inner being. You're learning to attune to your soul. You're learning to attune to who you truly are. Oh, isn't this such a wonderful, fun journey? Instead of saying, I don't know, open it up. I need clarity. I need clarity on this thing. I need more clarity. I need a greater understanding. And then let it go. And the clarity will come to you. Do I want to date this person or this person? I need more clarity. Allow the clarity to come to you. Do I want to take this job or this job? I need more clarity. Allow the thoughts and ideas to come to you. There's a million different ways that that could happen. Because of this instability, because of this lack of believing in your own capability, it's very hard to say, I want to make $500 million this year. It is hard to say, I'm making $500 million this year if I don't believe in my capability. If I don't believe in my capability to make large sums of money, it is so difficult for me to say, I am doing this thing. If I don't believe in my capability, it is difficult to say what I'm going to do. And that's just a natural consequence. So as you're learning to see yourself more safe and secure, first of all, if you're wondering about your capability and your capacity, what you want to work on is your capacity, your capability is not based on whether or not I can do all things, because then you're never going to feel capable. Because what? You can't do all things, because you don't naturally know how to do all things, because nobody does, because you're human. And if you wanted to know how to do all things, then you would be back up in source energy. And that's not what you came here for. You didn't come here to know how to do all things. You came here to experience life. You came here to grow and expand. You came here to desire more. You came here to learn how to do more. You didn't come here to know it all. You came here to learn. So your capability is based in your capacity to learn. Can you learn whatever it is? Can you learn how to allow in $500 million? Yes. Rihanna learned how to do it. Jeff Bezos learned how to do it. There's nothing inherently wrong with me that I couldn't learn how to do it. Can I learn how to make $1 million? Yes. Manifestation Babe learned how to do it. Oprah learned how to do it. X, Y, and Z, other person learned how to do it. I can learn how to make more money. Can I learn how to do this next thing? Can I learn how to get my needs met? Yes. Nathallie learned how to do it. I can learn how to be loved. I can learn how to allow myself to be loved. I can learn how to allow myself to receive. I'm capable. I am capable means I have the capacity to learn. I have the capacity to learn. With the energy of the Chariot, I am just learning to allow myself to receive love. I am just learning to see myself successfully. I'm learning that it is possible for me to be successful. I'm learning that I have the capacity to succeed. I'm learning that I have the capacity to succeed. I'm learning that I have the capacity to succeed. That just feels really good to say. I'm singing Ain't No Mountain High Enough. There is nothing out there that I cannot learn to do. There is nothing out there that I cannot learn to do. There are certain things that you don't have the desire to learn to do. Not wanting to do something and not being able to do something are two different things. And you really need to separate that. Because a lot of you used I can't as an excuse not to do things in your childhood and in your life. Oh, I can't talk on the phone today. You can talk on the phone today. You don't want to talk on the phone today, and that's okay. Oh, I can't do that. No, you can do that. You don't want to do that. It's about stepping into more empowerment. I just don't want to. I just don't want to talk. I just don't want to take on this extra work. I just don't want to work for less than X, Y, and Z amount of money. I just don't want to not get my needs met. I just don't want to. As you recognize that and stop telling yourself the story that you can't, start telling yourself that you're capable of everything. It's possible for me to learn how to do my own taxes. Is that something I see myself doing in the foreseeable future? Fuck no. That's not my desire. That's my last desire. That's my last desire on earth. There are several things that I do not want to do that I would rather want to do before I wanted to do that. And that's okay. That's where the human connection, what is that, interdependent species things comes in. Because there's somebody who loves to learn about taxes. Oh, thank you, God. There's somebody who loves to do that. And so they're going to do that for me. Boom. Problem solved. And telling yourself you can't do stuff, putting too much pressure on your stuff, not working. Hidden inner strength is the last card that we got for this reading. In your childhood, you knew who you were. You knew who you wanted to be. You knew what your future was. You knew. With the energy of the hidden inner strength, you're just on a journey of returning back to who you are. You're on a journey of returning back to the version of you that knows. Children are so incredibly tapped into spirit. Children are so incredibly tapped into source. They know. You know. You knew. With the energy of the hidden inner strength, this is about learning to trust yourself. Learning to trust yourself and also learning to speak up. Learning how to set your boundaries. You're not going to get your needs met if you don't express that. You're not going to get your needs met unless you say, hey, I have this need and I need you to meet it. A lot of y'all, you have that desire for people to know what you need and then to meet your needs without you having to say it. And you know why you have that desire? Because that's what your parents were supposed to do. Michael Scott, what they're supposed to do. Have you guys seen that? It's the episode of The Office. It's the first episode. It's like literally season 1, episode 1. And Michael Scott is impersonating Chris Rock. Oh my God. And they're talking about, it's a bit about like raising children. And That's what they're supposed to do. It's very hilarious and I love it. Okay. That's what your parents were supposed to do. Your parents were supposed to put in the emotional labor, the emotional work to figure out, what do you need? You're tired right now? You're hungry right now? Are you feeling frustrated because you want ice cream before you have your dinner? Yeah. Are you feeling angry because your brother took your toy? That. Mirroring? You didn't get that. You did not get the adults and the authority figures who were outside of you going, this is what you need right now. Okay, this is how we're going to meet that need. Okay, let's feel these emotions, let's process them, and then let's figure out how to meet this need. Let's figure out how to soothe it. Let's work together. Da-da-da-da-da. You didn't get that. And so now you're walking around as an adult, psychologically 2 years old, emotionally immature. No shame is what it is. Natural consequence. How could you develop into something if you're not hitting those developmental markers, if nobody is teaching you, if nobody is guiding you? Hint, you cannot. So now, as an adult, it's your job to do the emotional labor and work that your parents didn't do. Or you come work with somebody like me who will do the emotional labor for you and you pay me. Hello. It's now your job to learn how to attune to your own feelings, your own needs, figure out what they are, and figure out how to meet them. And as you learn how to do that, then you can communicate that and express that to somebody else. Then they either decide, I have the capacity and desire to meet this need, and they meet your need, or they decide, I do not have the capacity and or the desire to meet this need. They do not meet that need, and you got to figure out how to meet that need in another way. With the energy of the hidden inner strength, as you are learning, if you have problems, if you have needs, emotional needs, you're learning how to communicate. And of course, it would make sense for you not to feel safe to do this because of your childhood experience. I get it. Creating those environments of safety and security looks like, you start with this one. I'm healing a lot of interpersonal trauma right now. So this is what I need. That's how I started off a lot of new relationships. I'm actually healing from a lot of social anxiety and this and this and this. And so I need this. And then they decide to either meet that need or not meet that need. Example. I'm healing from childhood trauma where I was ignored all the time. My emotional needs were completely neglected. And so I need a friend, or I need a spouse. I need to be dating someone. I need the boyfriend who is going to respond to all of my text messages. That's what I need in order to feel loved, safe, prioritized. You communicate that to people right off the bat. You let them know what it is. If they can't meet that need, that's okay. There's somebody outside that can. There's somebody else that can. And of course, you hold the belief system that what if nobody can meet my needs? That's because you did not get that person meeting your needs in your childhood. Your childhood, very, very important if you didn't catch on. Because what's happening in those prime developmental years is that you are setting that foundation and really getting an understanding of what the world is and how you will perceive the world. And so if in those prime developmental years, you were perceiving the world and getting exposed to the world where nobody can meet my needs, nobody can meet my needs, you're going to be telling yourself the story that nobody can meet your needs. So of course it feels terrifying now to be walking away from people who might be meeting some of your needs, to be opening yourself up to connecting with people who can potentially meet all of your needs, but you've never met those people before. You've never interacted with somebody who can meet all of your needs. Of course, that's terrifying. That's your Eight of Cups moment. That's your into the unknown. And I almost started singing, but I didn't. Learning to communicate is your first step. Hey, this is what I need. Hey, this is what I need from you. You can either meet this need or you cannot meet this need. It's okay if you can't meet this need. I'm just opening myself up to connecting with more people who can meet my needs. Inner being, I'm ready to rendezvous with more people who can meet my needs. I'm going to let you know right now, love relationships, I'm ready to rendezvous with emotionally mature people. My dating apps right now, you know what I have? Emotionally mature, looking for somebody emotionally mature, emotionally attuned to themselves and others, emotionally available. Literally, in my bias, looking for somebody who I do not have to coach. Hello. Looking for somebody who can be a rock for me emotionally. Thank you, God. Never experienced that before. But would you look at that? I'm matching with people. Would you look at that? There are people out there who can meet my needs. Would you look at that? There are people out there who are emotionally unavailable, who are emotionally available. See? Freudian slip. See? We're working through it, and that's okay. All right, that's all that I have for you for this collective reading. Y'all are going to have to let me know. Did this resonate with you? Did y'all like this? I'm going to try to get some timestamps in the bottom. If you want help with anything that I mentioned in this, you want help maintaining, establishing an environment of emotional safety and security for yourself so that you can align with relationships that feel safe and secure, so that you can align with jobs that feel safe and secure, where your needs are getting met like never before, come and work with me. You can book that. You can DM me. All of that information is going to be in the description box down below, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.